This session will focus on building the future of your club using innovative marketing techniques. So what we're going to cover in the next hour or so is we're going to chat about our new marketing campaign, which we launched last week. And we're going to give a brief overview of how to schedule social media posts. There's two ways to do this. We're going to explore both in a little more detail. Tomorrow, we've got a very exciting launch of a new social media platform, and we're going to talk about how this impacts our reach and why we've decided to go and give it a try. And finally, we're going to discuss innovative marketing tips that are proven to have worked for us at least, and we hope they will for you too. So without further ado, we've launched our new year campaign. It's entitled Elevate Your Fitness, and the tagline is to try orienteering, and our hope is to inspire more people to get involved and try out our sport. And there's many ways that you can support our campaign. So I'm just going to click here and it should open a new tab. We have created a brand new campaign hub detailing ways specifically for our clubs, associations and members to get involved in the campaign. So a few details about the campaign if you haven't had a chance to see our newsletter or social media. Our target demographic for this campaign is 16 to 40-year-olds, people that haven't heard of orienteering before. And really it's about giving it a boost and a bit of life into what the sport is to a wider audience of individuals. So we've decided to launch this now because obviously it's the start of the year. A lot of people are thinking about getting fit again, into exercise. So it's the perfect opportunity for us to tap into this sort of market and shed a light as to why people should get involved in our sport. So we would really encourage you to share the campaign video. This is available across all our social media channels. You're also able to download the MP3 file on our website. You can just download it here. And then we have also created template social media cards. So you'll be able to see all of these here. We've made them compatible for Instagram and for Facebook and X, for those of you that are still using it. And some template social media posts. So this is basically wording that we have suggested that you can use, or you could simply create your own posts and link to the campaign page. And it talks about a wide breadth of different areas of orienteering. So here we're talking about urban fitness, and then we're talking about the fact that you can download the MapRun app to your phone as well, and really giving you the opportunity to link to your club's website, because we want this to be for the clubs as well as just generally boosting our profile, if that makes sense. We've also got a press release. It's just a rejig of the news story that went out. So feel free to publish that on your websites. We would really encourage that. And then I'm going to expand on this a little bit more, but new members, something that we're really keen to gauge is the perceptions of people that have joined your clubs within the last 6 months. And there is a reason for this, and we'll expand on that in just a second, but all they need to do is drop us across an email to marketing@britishorienteering.org, and we'll get back to them with more information. We simply want to ask them for more of their insights into how they found the experience and some more things like that. And finally, we've got some flyers that are available with a QR code. So people just scan this and it will go directly to our website, and they can find out more about the campaign. And again, if you're in a position to distribute these, that would be fantastic. Now, our plan is to release additional campaigns throughout the year. Last year, we were heavily focused on the redevelopment of the website. So the sort of push to get more newcomers drawn into the sport took a little bit of a backseat. But we really feel like we're in the right place now to highlight the work that we've been doing. So now if someone goes to the Get Involved tab, they can click this link and they can learn about other campaigns that we've kind of run in the past, soft launched, I would say. So there's more resources available to explore about the Go Orienteering project. We did run a summer campaign out there earlier last year, and we did a little bit with This Girl Can. Our performance manager as well, Pippa, did a reel about how to get involved with a permanent orienteering course and what it's like. So there are some resources there, but obviously our aim over time is to build on these resources so we've got more for you to share. So yeah. So I mentioned that I was going to talk to you a little bit more about why we want to hear from newcomers. So our next plan is to launch another campaign in the springtime. Dates to be confirmed, but we are pretty much looking for that feedback from newcomers as soon as possible. We believe that newcomers can provide an invaluable insight into how we can improve the sport, how they're finding things such as the event experience, what it's like to be a part of their own local club, and just really getting some sort of wording and some quotes and some insight into how they feel as someone that's been in the sport for the last 6 months is going to be really pivotal to sort of driving this campaign. If we do struggle to get the feedback from people that have joined within the last 6 months, our next approach may be that we target people that are coming to come and try events, to sort of gauge more information about how they feel about trying out orienteering, and again, if there's anything that we can improve. So there will be resources for you to distribute amongst these events that we're hoping to put together in the sort of next month or so. We are having a central team meeting about this next week, so it will be something that I'll be raising on the agenda, and obviously we'll keep you updated on where we go. So what you can do in the meantime, and we'd be very grateful for, is to be part of the drive to get more people trying the sport and joining your clubs, through encouraging these sort of campaigns that we're putting out and the videos. If there's any resources or anything you feel that we could add based on what you have within your clubs, we also welcome that. We always welcome, your feedback and input as well. And it's been really great to see a lot more clubs feeling comfortable and confident in collaborating with us on social media channels like Instagram. That really is invaluable to us, because it allows us to pass that through the ranks to other people. So now we're going to move on to talking about scheduling social media posts. So here at British Orienteering, we schedule a lot of our social media posts. We do also post, particularly when we didn't have the collaborate option, we do post in the moment. We try and post when we're at events, and obviously specifically major events and international events, we post much more regularly sort of the progress of the competitions that are happening. But we know that this sport is driven by volunteers. We know that people are already short on time. So we're trying to think of ways that we can help support you in delivering more things on social media to sort of elevate and plan ahead. with your own strategies and seeing what works for you as well. So we're going to have a little brief discussion about 2 different ways that you can schedule social media posts in advance. And that means that when it comes to scheduling posts, such as things around the Elevate Your Fitness campaign, for example, or an event that you've got coming up that all the promotion's ready for and it's ready to go, you can work your way backwards from the date of the event and build up that anticipation and excitement in advance. So there's 2 ways. So the first is Meta. So we have a business account, a business page at British Orienteering. So we have access to the Meta Business Suite. Now, if you don't have a business page set up, unfortunately, it's not a simple fix. Facebook have removed the ability to transfer your account to a business account. So you would have to create a whole new page. And we appreciate that some clubs may not have a business account set up. So we have provided an alternative in the form of Buffer, which is a little bit more basic. You might not be able to get as many analytics from it, but it is worth a try because it is free. So we'll run through Meta really quickly. So if I go to the British Orienteering Facebook, here I am on the homepage. To access the business suite, or to see if you can access it, you'll need to go to this little function. If you can't see it, it's because the menu's hidden. So just click there. Now you want to go down and you'll see Meta Business Suite. So you open that up. And here you'll see that our accounts, the 2 accounts that are linked are Facebook and Instagram. And you'll see a lot of general comments and different things. Note that there is a weekly plan option. So you can see we've completed 2 of 7 tasks. Facebook / Meta set these sort of things to kind of encourage you to publish things like ads, but that cost money to boost. And you can budget for those. That's something we discussed in a webinar last year, and there is information on that still available on our club and membership toolkit. And then they've set these other little challenges for us. So publish 17 stories on Instagram, 10 posts on Facebook. It's up to you what your metrics are, and it's just guidance. So what tab I want to go to is Planner. So I'll just do that again. So you're in the home section and you go to Planner. So if you've got Meta Business Suite, it's very easy. You literally just click on to the day that you want. So say you want to schedule a post. I've clicked the 15th of January. We usually post at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. just to split our posts up. It is giving me the option to post to Instagram as well. And hang on a second. Oh, there we go. Right. So yeah, so this is what it will look like. And then it will just say, give you the option to add your media. So I'm going to add photo. This is our folder for social media cards. I'm going to advertise the recently announced annual awards. And then you just put in your text. So I think I've just got a little template of what I was going to use here. And you just add in your link, and obviously you can add in your own images and anything like that you want. You can add a location. I don't believe that the only downside to scheduling is they haven't again developed a feature to collaborate. However, I think you can still tag people. So it's not the end of the world. And then you have the option as well to share it to your story. So let's just click all of them. And then all I'm going to do is, yeah, I've got my content in there. That looks good on the preview. Let's see what it looks like on Instagram. That's how it's going to look on Instagram. Lovely. And you can also check how it's going to look on a mobile as well. So that's really useful if you're scheduling for the first time, and maybe you've got like we have writing on the image, just to make sure that nothing's cropped out and it all looks professional. And then you just click schedule. And then it takes a little bit of time. It will encourage you to schedule another post, and then you'll see that it appears here. So yeah, and there's lots of different things that you can schedule. So it literally says you can create a reel, you can schedule a post, which you can attach a video to, you can schedule a story, an ad, and it just keeps going. The calendar just keeps going. So yeah, if you just wanted to share to Facebook, for example, you can just click that, and then yeah, just go and click into the account, and then it will you start the process over again. And so on Meta Business Suite, it's very seamless and easy, but again, it does depend if you've got the access to it. As you can see, this was last week, very busy with scheduling, and yeah, it's really up to you, but it gives you the opportunity to schedule posts over time, and thinking ahead as well. So you don't have to keep thinking, oh, I haven't posted on social for ages, because you've already covered the bases. It can be a little time consuming to schedule a lot of content in advance, but it often pays off in the long term. So this is the other option, which is also free. It does say it probably will encourage you to start a trial and stuff. I've managed to set up an account for free, and it seems to have worked fine, linking everything up. So it's the same thing. So again, pretty much the same layout. Just click add a post, and it just appears slightly different. So for this one, you have to click that little box, and this time I'm going to select the thing, just make sure the image is uploaded. There's my preview, and again, I'm ready to add in my link and just check I'm all happy with that, and I want it scheduled for the 10th. I should have noted that there's also an option to schedule a draft. If you do schedule a draft, then it won't be posted, so just be aware of things like that. And again, just click schedule. So, and then it will send. And again, you can just literally go day to day. You can do it as a month to see all the things that are scheduled. And it's just kind of like a separate diary, I guess, for your social media. And just to check, if you need to go in and edit the post, where's it gone? This goes to, then for buffer, you just literally go here. It gives you the option to actually publish it in the immediate future if you change your mind. Or for example, if the link's changed, you can just delete it and put in a new link, which is great for if your event deadlines change or any small details have been changed. The key then is to remember that you've scheduled something, and that you need to go back and edit it. So yes, so that's just a very brief overview of scheduling using Meta business and Buffer. So So we are launching a new social media platform tomorrow. We are launching TikTok. So we're very excited about the launch. We're also approaching it with, it is going to be a trial. We're going to see how it goes. And we're launching it on the basis of the amount of content that we have seen in terms of reels explode sort of over Instagram from clubs and our major events, and the content that we sort of managed to capture at these events. It just makes sense. So say hello to TikTok. It will be launching tomorrow. Many of you may be wondering, why on earth TikTok? It's for you know, only young people use it. Like, how's it going to make an impact on me, my club? So TikTok is growing. We know that there's a lot of contentious talks about it in America at the moment. But social media forecasters estimate there'll be over 16.8 million users on the platform this year, and that is in the UK. On average of those users, people spend the most time on that platform scrolling through videos. They spend about 40 minutes a day, believe it or not. So its growth has been exponential, and critically to our target demographic, a proportion of those people will probably most likely be on TikTok, and they have never heard of orienteering before. Now, if you go on TikTok now and you look for orienteering, there's not a lot of talk about the UK sort of side of orienteering. We do have a couple of clubs. I know that Edinburgh University Club, EOC Legends as they're known, are on Twitter, on TikTok, and they've posted lots of like little reels and content that's for TikTok specifically, but also reels that they've also shared on Instagram, or we have seen shared on Instagram. So there is a very strong target market out there to explore, and get them to know more about our sport. Other NGBs and sports are on there, and it's a different way to sort of be creative and share our content. A year ago today, if you told me about making videos, I would have said absolutely not. But we have to grow with the times. We have to explore these different sort of angles of how we can get more people to know about the sport, to change the perception. So we would really encourage, if you're in a position to join TikTok, particularly if you are already in a position where you have someone at the club who's quite efficient with posting videos. We'll certainly be using it at, you know, our major events such as the JK and BOK. You can also go live on Twitter as well. So I know you can on Facebook and Instagram as well. So it's kind of the same thing. But that's an option as well. So yes, it is quite an exciting adventure, and we will see how it sort of evolves over time. We hope that obviously it will sort of kick off, and we will get lots more interest and inquiries, but as ever we do need your support. So there will be a press release going out tomorrow announcing that once everything's set up and it's launched. It's not yet launched. So we encourage you to share our new profile. You don't have to be a member of TikTok to do this. So it should be just, you can share it to your Facebook. So even if you're not really interested in it, maybe someone within your club might go, oh, they're on there, and follow us. If you are already on TikTok, or you have members that you know are on TikTok, then please encourage them to join us. And if you feel comfortable, please sign up yourself as a club. Like I said, particularly if you've already got content in the form of reels. Yeah, we just really encourage it as another platform for you to explore, to share content. So I think if I click this, it's going to take me to the TikTok video from EOC about WOC. And that's another reel of theirs. But as you can see from that, a lot of that was just images and clips that were taken at WOC. That video, I know for a fact, was also shared on Instagram. So TikTok's very similar to Instagram Reels in terms of the length of videos. So they are quite short. They're about, for attention spans on TikTok, are very different to, unless you're talking in depth about something that's going to attract a lot of attention imminently. It needs to be about 30 seconds to a minute long. But in that respect, it's very similar. It's still got music and everything else to Instagram. So it's just another platform to reach out to prospective newcomers on. So we will keep you updated with obviously the launch tomorrow. We are aiming to launch it in the morning, and obviously it'll be shared on our social media channels. So the final part of our presentation is to focus more on innovative marketing tips that have worked for us, and we would encourage you to try to help them work for you as well. So I've broken this up into a couple of sections. So we start with humanizing our sport. So lots of happy faces, one unsure face, but I'm sure he's happy deep down. So humanizing our sport, how do we do this? How do we go about this? So when I think of humanizing things, I'm thinking of what happens when newcomers come and turn up to events and they've got no knowledge of orienteering. How do you as a club support them? And then once you have answered that question, market it. Getting quotes from your own members and letting them not speak for you literally, but be your voice of how they feel about the sport, how they feel about being a member of your club. This is so easy to transform into, you could use it, you could film someone giving feedback on how they feel being a member of the club for X amount of years. And you could post something like that. You could do a quote card using Canva or whatever sort of marketing design things that you have. You could write a blog interviewing someone. But the key thing is to pick out those key words that connect why they've been so loyal and stayed within the club and developed and grown over the years, why they've stuck with the sport and why they've supported it. So that is incredibly powerful, and it really can relate to a lot of people more than people appreciate. Another big one is promoting the social aspect of being a club member. So what happens after everyone crosses the finish line and comes off the courses? Are we going off to grab a beer together? Does everyone just pack up and go home? Does everyone band together and help sort of tidy up? That sense of community, the volunteering aspect, is something that we really want to get across, because it's no secret that we need more volunteers, we need more younger volunteers. And so combining these sort of feel good factors of, yeah, we were sort of, it was really muddy that day in the car park, the car parking went all wrong, but at the end of the day we banded together and we all laughed it off with a beer down the local afterwards. It's that's what people look to connect with. Not everyone, but a lot of people you will find is that's how it's for them. It's the social element as well. Keeping on top of social trends is another one. So you might, again, with TikTok and Instagram, indeed, you'll see, if you look at videos of people that you're following or hashtags that you're following, people might bring out several trends. It might be a music, it might be a song that's literally gone viral on the internet, that you're hearing everywhere on the radio as you're driving to work or whatever. Use that to kind of match to your campaigns, to your own sort of promotion. So you can add music to an Instagram post now. So it's things like that that people go, oh, I love that song, and then they linger a little bit more to actually flick through the photos or read what you're actually talking about. So you're getting the message across. Spoke a little bit about volunteers. Please send us content or get in touch with us to boast about your volunteers. We've just announced that our annual awards nominations are open, and we think it's vital to profile a lot more work around what volunteers actually do, the effort, and really champion that. So if people see that you're doing that for those members, it's rewarding, particularly for young people as well, who are just starting out. I know that there's a couple of clubs where they have junior orienteers who are taking on training for coaching for the future, and planning courses, and it's just really inspirational, and those things need to be celebrated and almost an example to others of what can be done. You can use all kinds of methods to the wording to adapt to emphasize that it's great experience to put on their CV at that age, for when they are going to look for work, anything like that. But celebrating the work of volunteers is how we retain them and keep things going. Emphasize how you support your members outside of events. I think we've spoken a little bit more about that, but you could talk about things like general fitness, nutrition, all the sort of elements and the benefits of the mental and the physical benefits of being a member of an orienteering club, and being there consistently. That's going to improve your rates on participation if people are continuously reminded of why they're doing it. And then finally, I did touch on this, but imagine yourself as someone with no prior knowledge of orienteering. What would you tell people? So it's a complete blank space, and maybe it's a case of just brainstorming a couple of ideas of like, what do they need to know about the courses? How do we simplify this to someone that's new to make it more accessible and welcoming to them? Next up, collaborate with us and one another. So like I mentioned earlier, it's been really great to see that we've been receiving all these messages to say that people want to collaborate with us on our social media channels. Please do not be disheartened if we haven't immediately accepted a collaboration post. It's usually because we have a lot of things going out that day. It will make it to the grid. And obviously we need to bear in mind that it's relevant to the messaging that we're trying to portray. But there are other ways. There's other things that are coming up that we need to be mindful of, and that you can tap into. So the first is World Orienteering Week. So the dates this year have been confirmed, I believe, for the 17th to the 25th of May. So as ever, if you have events going on within that week, they are classed as World Orienteering Week events. And we will be getting in touch again to ask if anyone has got events happening throughout that week, and seeing if we can profile them a lot more. We also would encourage, if you've got any activities planned amongst your clubs during the half-term holidays, to get those out and advertised. Obviously, the area of schools is a big one, and there is going to be another development conference session talking about our recognised delivery partners. So I really encourage you to join that to find out more about how they can help. And obviously there are our campaigns, like I mentioned, Go Orienteering, and it's Elevate Your Fitness. Keep sharing those and promoting them with us and for yourselves. And then I just wanted to touch again on blogs. So we have continued to do the event spotlights in the last year, but another angle that we took, which was proved to be very popular, was our university orienteering spotlight series. So we went out to clubs across the country and basically interviewed them and asked them about what orienteering meant to them, why they got involved, why they've continued to do it at university, what they get up to socially, as well as taking part in the sport, where it's taken them in their journey. And it was just incredibly popular, and we were so pleased to get the amount of content that we did. So another example that actually, if you do take the time to reach out to people, that they're more than likely to provide that content for you, and that there's no reason why you shouldn't try and do that with amongst your own members, to boost your profile a little bit more. Giveaways and club incentives. I'm not going to delve too much on this because it does touch on a lot of other sections that are covered later on in the development conference, but things like training opportunities, be it coaching, and development opportunities, they're all incentives for people to want to sort of stick around and stay. Loyalty schemes for members that have been there for many, many years. Another thing to consider, if possible, vouchers. So when we send out surveys, sometimes we offer vouchers. We've also you'll have seen all over our social media the collaboration with Sports Shoes for Quid Games. It's just gone insane because people, because of the incentive to obviously take part in the competition just by following and tagging one another in it, to win the competition. So our followers have just gone skyrocketed. I believe Kay said that they were a 10% increase over the last couple of weeks, which is great. So any small things like that you can offer to within your clubs, it doesn't have to be, huge. It could just be something to just say thank you for participating, and recognizing them. And then junior development. We're still learning a little bit more about the ongoing sort of junior development schemes. We know that there's things going on, but we also know that people are not in a position, they're just too busy to shout about it. So I always say to people when they're too busy, just send me across a couple of bullet points and I will help you. But my fear is that people hold on to the good work that they're doing and don't shout about it enough. and other people can't learn from that. So I really encourage people to think about these sort of things and to also talk about them more, because they're great. Final thing is I wanted to talk about how you can use social media metrics to form future strategies. Now, I'm just looking at the time just to check I've not gone on for too long. So I'm back in Meta Business Suite. So again, if you don't have access to this, it might not seem relevant, but if you one day do, it might be worth knowing. So we are now in this tab, which we were up here in the planner, and now we're in Insights. So I have set my the Facebook stats for the last year for this to give insights. So here it would tell you your overall performance, content interactions, followers, how many people have clicked. It will show you a graph with the breakdown of the reach. And then it will tell you all the things about advertising, because they definitely want to try and get you to advertise. So this is just a very broad overview. Again, I spoke about the plan earlier, so they've given you like a time frame of what you could do, a summary of what you could do in a week to sort of get more reach, increase your reach. So these are just ideas. Now, results are interesting. So reach is the amount of people that your posts have collectively reached. So we've seen that go up, and visits have gone up as well, which is always good to see. And you can see where they've sort of peaked. So yeah, I think this was the start of WOC, is where it's, or the week before, it's really sort of peaked. So yeah, and you can export all of this data to see how it goes over time. I won't do that now, but it is an option as I think, yeah, as a PDF or as a Excel or infographic. This one is very interesting because it falls under demographics. So if you go to audience, it will tell you your followers over a lifetime and the age. So you can see, again, 18 to 24 is looking very low on Facebook, whereas based on what we discussed earlier and the true demographics, we will be hitting that target market of people potentially by creating a TikTok, less so on Facebook. So it's interesting. So you can look at these stats across here. You can look at the towns that you're hitting, countries, everything. You can look at trends. So how many people keep coming back to your profile? There's lots of different things. And you can look at this data and basically start to think about what you really want to work on. So it could be content. So here, if you click on content, it takes forever to load because obviously we've had a lot. But if you click on this, it should put the highest performing post right at the top. Yeah, so it was the video for Relive the Excitement of WOC, which was just phenomenal. Reach wise, it was the biggest that we've ever got. It was fantastic. And as you go down, you can see that, you know, the international sort of side of things did sort of take precedence over those sort of months. But as you keep going, you see what else has worked. So so all these different events, some more international stuff. I mean, our own international stuff always tends to do really well, but you can start to focus on what over time what sort of direction you want to go in. We obviously don't want to just focus on international events, so we need to think of everything and the different angles that we can take in reaching different people. But yeah, it is a minefield, and there's lots of different ways that you can really get into things and digress that information. So it's something to explore and something to think about going forward on how you sort of approach it, if you want to use social media metrics to form future strategies. So I am going to sort of simmer things down now and come to an end, because I'm conscious that I want to leave time for like questions. So I've just put together some useful links and contacts. I've put the marketing at email address down here. And this presentation, of course, will be available afterwards. However, I'm conscious that although the video will be available, obviously with it being on YouTube, it might not be as clear as a step-to-step guide of how to navigate around the certain things that I've shown you. So my plan is to spend some time tomorrow putting together some guides on what I've just shown you, on the social media metrics side of things, and also scheduling social media posts in advance using Meta or Buffer. So that will be to come once the presentation and everything is online. I've linked to the campaigns page, the club and membership toolkit, digital content hub, and our new club health checker. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, please do. And also our blogs. So I think that is the last slide. Yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing now. Thank you so much for listening to me. And please let me know if you have got any questions at all, and I'll try and answer them.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Alex. That was absolutely excellent as always. And I do have some questions ready to go. But I'll quickly remind everybody that if you do have any questions, you can pop them into the chat or the Q&A. That's where I've got most of them from so far. And if you wish, you can use the raise hand function, and I'll call upon you to unmute and ask your question to Alex. I'll get started from the Q&A first and then go on to the chat. So Catherine asked, when you mentioned about using music in reels, for example, popular songs to help get and keep people's attention, what's the situation with royalties and similarly copyright issues for images and graphics?
So for reels, we haven't seen any of and we haven't ourselves, we've used music. I think the deal is that you can use it, but for example, with the promotional video that we put out, we wouldn't be able to, we need to claim royalties for that. We need to purchase that music outright. But because you're effectively not selling, you're sort of describing what happened at an event, or so a lot of the reels that have been shared do, you're able to use that music free of charge. There is a lot of grey area over rights of music, as it's particularly more difficult now, but because you're not selling a product, usually we see that clubs are highlighting all the activities that have gone on from a race, for example, or just images. You're able to use that music. With images, we would encourage you to look at the image gallery that we have on our website. Obviously, over to sort of towards the end of the year, that sort of took a little breathing space, but we're hoping to continue to add images as the events sort of ramp up over the year. We, again, if you're getting images from anywhere else, even if it's, I'll use, for example, I think for the JK image, they had to contact the marketing at Sheffield department to use that image, and they have certainly credited it on their website. So it's just being aware that even if it's just a nice image of a university, just to email the relevant people just to check it's okay to use that on your websites and everything else and across your social media. But generally, we have not had, I don't think in the time that I've been here, we've had a copyright query. I think we might have had one, but it was from many years before me. But it is something that we do have to be mindful of and careful of. So you're right to ask that question, Catherine, and always double check if you're not sure, particularly with the images, I'd say. But with the music accompanying your reels, you'll be fine, unless you're selling a direct product. Then you can use it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you, Catherine, for the question. I can see in the chat, I've been noting as I go that Alison's got a few questions. I've been making sure to note down when they were asked so I can get all the right context and do the best job I can with asking you these. So the first question was towards the start about the targeting newcomers campaign. And the question was, how are you targeting the new members? Are you emailing them directly, or are you relying on clubs to identify the newcomers and to put them in touch with you?
A bit of both, if I'm honest. So as I said, it would be incredibly beneficial if, someone in an ideal world, you've got a handful of people per club that have joined and they're just brilliant and they're showing up and they're just really passionate about the sport and engaging, and we want to hear from them. So if you know people, then that would be brilliant. Alternatively, we would look at our stats and see what we could do in terms of reaching out and targeting emailing those people directly through target email marketing. So in essence, a bit of both, if I'm honest. The more help that we can get with it is great as well, because we are conscious that we want clubs to be a part of this process and not that we've just kind of slapped the names of members onto something that, committee members, for example, don't feel part of. But the overall aim is to get the good word out about why they've joined and why they're sticking around. And yeah, just getting a different perspective of like, hey, I've only been doing this for a certain amount of time and I love it and you will too, and this is why. So yes, we will certainly be contacting clubs as well for ideas on any people that we can get quotes from.
Excellent. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alison. There was another question on the collaborate during the section where you were showing how to schedule a meta post, asking what does collaborate mean when you were discussing the collaborate options.
Okay, so I can show you. I can probably show you on. Oh, I'm not sure it will open now. So this is the formal social media planner that we use, just to give you an idea. Now, because we obviously pay for this one, we have access to more rights such as this. So if I wanted to add that same photo for awards and add somebody else in, such as Scottish Orienteering, but we'll just put British Orienteering. And then what happens is you'll see and British Orienteering, or for international posts, we might tag Trimtex because they're obviously our kit sponsor. So it just means that when I schedule this or I publish it, Trimtex will get a notification on their Instagram saying that we've been invited to collaborate on a post. They've been invited to collaborate on a post. Now, if they can accept the notification, or they can not accept it, it's up to them. And what happens then, if they do accept it, is it appears on their profile as well. Now, obviously, Trimtex is worldwide, has lots of different potentially followers, and again, it goes back to being able to expand on your reach. There is a function, everyone can collaborate on an Instagram post if they post directly from their phone. I will put that in the guide as a section for you. So I can take a screenshot on my phone and actually like point to where it is, because obviously I can't, it shows differently on the desktop now, so it's not going to work as well. But you can collaborate with people. The only thing is, if you post something and you've forgotten to collaborate with them, you can't then add them on. So it's a bit, it can be a bit pretentious if you don't really know what you're doing. But if the person accepts the collaboration post, then it will appear on their profile as well as yours. And that's great for if you want to collaborate with people in terms of they're writing stuff about what they're doing, but you're indirectly involved in it as well. So you're kind of sharing it as a joint success thing. So yeah, that's what collaborative posts are. But I will put more on that section in the guide, where I'll be able to share more screenshots of how to do it from your side of viewing it, if that makes sense. Because I can only really show you from the scheduling side of Hootsuite at the moment.
Excellent. Thank you again, Alex and Alison. I have one extra question that I think will probably be a bit of a longer one, and then a couple of slightly easier ones. So the first one is, how do you create a bespoke media card starting from one of the British Orienteering templates?
Which British Orienteering template do you mean?
I might have to go back to Alison for that one.
Oh, is it Alison?
Yeah, hi, it's me again. Sorry.
Hiya. No worries.
So when you were showing us earlier the latest campaign, there's a load of template cards, social media cards, and I think there's the option of making them more bespoke, or maybe it's you're using you're trying to create an event and you're using a template from the sort of member area.
Yes, so we do have the template social media cards that are already pre-existing in our club and membership, sorry, our digital content hub. But do you mean ones just for the Elevate Your Fitness campaign?
Just generally.
Just generally. We do have, sorry, I'm just trying to log into my account so I can show you. So we do have the other template ones that are already created as part of on the digital content hub. But again, these have already been created. So if your question is, how do we use a template? I guess you just need to start blank and then go to the image gallery, grab an image, and then get the BOF logo and your club's logo and sort of apply it yourself in Canva. That would be my recommendation if you want to create one, a bespoke one. So yeah, we sort of talk about how you can use Canva to modify these and just add your logo onto them. But really, if you're creating a brand new card from scratch, it's a case of you need to put that into a Canva document or whatever design function that you wish to use and create it yourself. We do have blank templates, so we've got like the ones without the images. If you sort of go further down, there are certain templates like here that are a little bit more complex that you can contact us and we can help you modify them. But really it's dependent on what it is. So I always say if it's for major events, we're always there to support the clubs or associations that are hosting those, because it's not to say that general events aren't a lot of work, but we know it's a lot of work. But if we'd said to everyone, we can create these for you and this for you, then we would probably be inundated with a lot of inquiries. So it's always worth emailing us though, because I have modified a lot of posters for people over the last year. That's been very popular. So it just depends what we have going on with our time scales. Sometimes it's possible to create those for you. I can't promise that that will always be a possibility though, because we have to obviously factor in everything else we need to do. So but yeah, my recommendation would be have a go and start from scratch with the resources that you have and use things like Canva, because to be honest, we still use Canva every now and then, and as well as other programs. So it works.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, both. The next question that I had down was, do you think for different social media platforms we should be using the same post or adapting to suit the style of that platform, or a mix of both with the scheduling to help reduce time on volunteers? I know you spoke a little bit about it before.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just rereading it. So I would say with X, for example, now we are not able to be as expressive as we are on Facebook and Instagram, mainly because of the word limit, which has always been the case. I did see a question while we're on the topic of X, that we need to address the elephant in the room. X has been, unsurprisingly, been performing very poorly over the past year, I would say. I'm very conscious to track monthly analytics and stats, and we've seen a lot of people drop off, a lot of followers sort of just cease certainly from when I started. Now, we have had a conversation about Blue Sky, but at present there are no immediate plans to sort of move over there yet. Obviously, we're just in the process of launching TikTok and seeing how that's going to go. I think it is a possibility. It's we know that there's already been some clubs that have moved over to Blue Sky, so that is a possibility. But at present, we are remaining on X for the time being. And we know that other NGBs are suffering the sort of same feat with it. Back to the question on the same styles. So Instagram, I tend to use a lot more hashtags. So hashtag British Orienteering, Orienteering, try Orienteering, go Orienteering, things like that. You'll see in the Elevate Your Fitness campaign, if you download the template social media posts, we've put a lot of hashtags in there that we recommend that you use. There's nothing stopping you from creating your own. I would just go into that search bar and just double check before you just assume and put them in, because sometimes there's very questionable things come up with the most sincere of things that you would think to put a hashtag against. So just be mindful of that. I do think that I tend to explain things a lot more in posts on Facebook, as per the audience that we do have there. With Instagram, I tend to keep it short and sweet, but the problem with Instagram that we have is links. So we have Linktree, which again, we have a free account. There's nothing stopping people from setting up a free account. It does allow you to put up links and add images to them and things like that, to directly link to your website. So it is quite an invaluable tool. However, if we do put a link in the post, we often do get people saying it doesn't work. No, it doesn't work, but it does say that to go to the link in our bio. But kind of, I don't know if it's like an old style of things of how I did it in my previous job. We did include the links in case people wanted to sort of copy and paste it and not link out to Linktree or another site, if that makes sense. So that is the challenge we find with Instagram. TikTok, I would certainly not keep very wordy. It's a platform that's built on the videos speak for themselves, or the images, however you want to present it. So I would certainly keep it very short and sweet and use hashtags. Yeah, generally I keep the same post for Instagram and Facebook, except with Facebook, obviously I make sure a link's included because I can add a link on there. Twitter, X, and TikTok, I would keep very short and sweet, and yeah, just use hashtags. And I guess if you are on Blue Sky, or your orienteering club is, then it will pretty much be the same format as it was before on Twitter, as it was previously known. I do not know if, on the subject of scheduling, whether Blue Sky has a scheduling service. I know that with Twitter there used to be TweetDeck, but then obviously that was all scrapped, and you have to pay to schedule content on X now. So I don't know if the developers at Blue Sky have implemented something similar. It would be interesting to see, because that was quite useful.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Alex, and the question as well. There's I'm keeping an eye on the time, but I do have a couple more quick ones to cover. One of them partially I can answer. So there was a question about young people being featured in photos, about the permissions of that. So my initial answer was to have a chat with your club welfare officer about this. And if you go to the safeguarding section on our website, there's our policies on there, and there's also plenty of links and resources as well to external child protection charities, and a lot of good information on there that can assist you with that. But anything else on top of that, Alex?
No, but we do. The images that we tend to use are taken from our resident photographers. And just to point out, the Rob Lines and Wendy Carlisle, if they do feature on the Flickr account, both I believe do mention that if you do want your photo, if you do spot a photo and want it removing, to contact them as well. So just to be mindful of that. But obviously, if there is any, or if there are any photos that you've spotted and are concerned about them, then yeah, please email us and let us know, and we'll be sure to take action.
Excellent, thank you very much. And the last question, which can work very well as sort of a parting gift in this. Andy asks about where the best practice is happening at a local level, which clubs are doing this really well and getting real results in terms of attracting young newcomers into the sport, apart from EUOC. So a good chance to shout out a couple of clubs here.
Yeah, so I think that, as I said, a lot of the university clubs are really running with it, certainly. And I think that as well inspired us to be like, we need to get more feedback from the perspectives of newcomers this year, and club and committee members themselves as well. But certainly, like last year, again, Oxford University, they run the city race, and they had over 500 participants. And it's the clubs that might appear small and they've already got a lot on their plate, but they're doing fantastic things, and they're kind of going to those more urban locations and cities and putting on these events and managing the whole sort of permissions process and all the headaches and everything else. And they're really sort of elevating it, literally. So I think in terms of the stats of that, we might need to speak to Mr. Brooke, Mr. Peter Brooke. He gauges a lot of the participation stats, but certainly a lot of the feedback and the insight that I find I get is by being the one who reaches out to people, whereas it would be lovely for people to start feeling confident to come forward and share what they've been doing.
Yeah, perfect. And I'll pick up on the other half of that. So outside those non-university clubs, is there any other clubs that sort of caught your eye in terms of using this social
Yeah, so I
engagement?
think Swansea Bay Orienteering Club are always doing an outstanding job. I'm trying to think of non-uni clubs now. It's hard. I don't want to spotlight particular clubs because I think everyone has their own capacities depending on the commitments of committee members. So I'm not sure it's fair to say that club's doing really well, that club could do better. I think we've definitely seen a lot more confidence grow in some clubs that were contacting us last year and are asking desperately for support. We're now seeing them really be proactive on social media. So Solway Orienteers was one example. I think we've just got to keep the momentum going and encourage the smaller clubs to know that it's okay to not have the unlimited resources, or so it may appear, that other clubs have. But yeah, it's always great to see. DVOC as well, some really great events. I need to catch up with the team there about what they're doing with their juniors and the development programs, because they sounded fantastic. And it's just great to see efforts collectively everywhere, whether it's in the lakes, and more people sort of getting involved, no matter what their age and ability, to sort of harness the excitement of the sport. But yeah, we can certainly ask more about the official stats.
Yeah, perfect. And a quick last one, so it's not so much of a parting thing, but I think I could probably answer, and then if there's any extras, you can tack on again. Jeanette was just asking on the website, should we be able to download the template social media cards by clicking download for FB or X button? It just opens an image. From there, when it opens the image, you should be able to right click and it should offer you the save image as option. It doesn't start a direct download to your computer in this case. I think that might be the solution you're looking for.
Oh yeah.
I've just done it myself on the side. So whilst you're answering that last question.
Let me look into that for you, because that is something I need to raise with our developer, because that definitely did download as an official file before. So I will double check that. But yes, in the meantime, it is right click and save as. And I apologize for that. And thank you for flagging. I'll be on to him tomorrow morning.
Perfect. And if we don't have any more questions, I think we've got through everything now. And big thank you to everybody for all the questions. I'm going to be able to draw things to a close. So first of all, a huge thank you to Alex for an excellent session and a brilliant Q&A as well. We've been keeping her on her toes tonight, so hopefully that means she'll be happy to come back for us again at some point in her new little annual slot in the development conference. And a huge thank you to you all for attending. It's really appreciated, and we're always happy to have you on board and have such good interaction as well. Really brilliant. So the first thing I'll shout out is the next session we have coming up, which is on Thursday the 16th, and that is an environmental risk assessments workshop. Obviously, getting permissions is becoming more and more of a difficult process, but also looking after our environment is becoming more and more important. So we'll have British Orienteering's very own Emma Monkman offering a bit of a workshop to discuss, some of the issues that are faced, and to be able to focus on the importance of the risk assessments themselves and also getting them approved. One of the most important things as well. So that'll be taking place at the same time, 7 o'clock on Thursday. In terms of follow-up for the session, I'll be uploading the YouTube video for this hopefully tomorrow, and I'll also ensure to include the extra resources that Alex was talking about earlier, as well as a copy of the slides, I believe.
Yes.
And that'll also contain the links that were on the slides as well. That'll all be packaged up into an email over to you all tomorrow, and you'll be able to access any of that. If you know anybody who wanted to attend the session who didn't get to, then feel free to share that YouTube link, and I will be popping in the chat quickly just some links to be able to get in touch with myself and Howard if you need for anything development conference related. The marketing @ email address to get in touch with Alex, and for any queries about all things marketing, as well as the session feedback form. We'd really appreciate it if you had a couple of minutes. I think you can get through it in about less than 5 minutes. If you even quicker if you don't have any extra comments. But in there, we do invite you to offer feedback as well as offer ideas for future sessions, because we're always happy to put forward the topics that you want to hear. These sessions are here to educate, and we don't want to put things on that nobody wants to be there for. So it'd be really appreciated if you could do that. I've just popped all those in the chat now. I haven't, because I've been told off because the message is too long, so I'll pop them in 2 messages instead. And a huge thank you to everybody for attending this evening. I will instead send all those things out on the email because Teams is not liking that I've got a big message to send. So what I'll do instead is I'll put that via email. But a huge thank you all for attending this evening, and enjoy the rest of the evening, and we look forward to welcoming you back again soon. Thank you very much, everybody.